Hi, I'm the Warrior Witch, and you can call me Nike. Today, we're going to be talking about witchy journals. This means Book of Shadows, Grimoires, Book of Light, Book of Mirrors, all that witchy journal jazz, and I'm going to tell you what they all are, what they mean, and what they're used for. The first term you'll probably hear a lot is grimoire, and this is typically a more family-oriented book, something that might be passed down from generation to generation and would hold a lot of family spells. So if you're the first witch in your family, you could pass it down to your children should you choose to have them, and that would become your family's grimoire. This is different from a Book of Shadows, which is typically just your personal spell book, your personal reference guide. It's just for you. It's a lot more informational most of the time, and that's what I tend to use it for personally. A lot of the other terms seem to be a little bit newer, but the other two that you'll hear a lot are Book of Light and Book of Mirrors. Typically, the Book of Light is going to be more like a practical journal where you write down all of your workings and you reflect on them. You can write down your tarot logs for any of the readings that you've done. You can talk about retrogrades, new and full moons, that kind of stuff. So it's the practical application part of your craft. Book of Mirrors can often be more of a regular journal where you reflect on yourself, and it's where you do more developmental work, where you try to grow and expand who you are. You reflect, Book of Mirrors, back onto you and your craft. There's a lot of questions about should you let other people see it, should you keep it absolutely hidden in private, and honestly, that's up to you. If you live with people that you don't really want seeing any of that, or you don't want prying into your privacy, then maybe not. Maybe have it be more private. But if you're okay with it being more public, you can share it with anybody around you. Now, when you hear these terms, you often think of a really fancy journal. Maybe it's like leather bound and etched, and it's got all these designs on it. It has to be like perfect. It doesn't have to be that. It can literally be a school notebook. But there's lots of options if you don't really know what to do, or if you just want a starter journal to just get it done. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like I said, it could just be a regular school notebook, college ruled, whatever you like. It could be a bullet journal, like the dotted ones, or it could be blank. There's also non-physical books. You can do online or electronic. I know some people keep them on their phone. I did Google Docs for my first one, and that was really handy because I could arrange them into folders, and then when I was ready to put them together later in a physical form, I could arrange it there and see how I liked it and play around with the formatting before I ever put it down to actual paper. For some people who might be more in the closet or more on the go, something on a flash drive might do really well. So you could do a Word document or a series of Word documents or anything you please. If it can fit on a flash drive, you could put it on there. It could also be images, book PDFs that you've purchased, any of that. So now you know what one is, and you might be thinking about making one, buying one, what have you, but maybe you don't know what to put in it. I will be going through both my Book of Shadows and my Book of Light, which is the terms that I use for my two books, and I will show you things that I put in there. To start, they are leather-bound journals that I made myself. So they're not terribly large, but they are bound on the side here with just white thread. It's really nothing fancy. I didn't even bevel the edges. It's literally just pages in leather. There's lots of cool tutorials online. I'll link my favorite one. I can do this. Here. No. I'll get it one of these days. But there's lots of bookbinding journals online that you can find that are very useful and very fast. This is the first part of my Book of Shadows. It's a sigil to keep out prying eyes. Then I have the Wheel of the Year is my first page, and I wanted to be a little bit colorful and experimental because it's just for my own reference. But I put down all the major holidays, all the Sabbats, and added colors that correspond to them. I then have a couple pages on astrology. I have aspects, planets, all the signs. I also have some retrograde information because those are important to know about. I really like using gold in there as well. I have some candle magic with information partially thanks to Mystic Dylan. I have timing and color correspondences, added some light decorations. I have sigils, and on the bottom of the right side, I have sigils that I made myself for manifestation and psychic abilities. Now we move on to my Book of Light. I don't have anything on the first page. I plan to add a sigil there later, but I really like to do things for the new and full moon. I really love the colors that go with them too, and I like using a little bit of that metallic in there. New moons represent the beginning of a cycle, so I like to document that, set intentions, and do tarot spreads. I do something similar in the full moon of how I should end out the cycle. I go over things like retrogrades and other astrological events. I like to do tarot card breakdowns, so this is the one that I did for the Fool, and I decorate the page like the card. Alright, that's it for me this week, so blessed be, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!